When it comes to Bluetooth speakers I've checked out, the OontZ Angle is good, and that's no question. But is it possible that Cambridge Soundworks could best that with an even better Bluetooth speaker option? Of course. Here's my full review of the OontZ Angle 3 XL, a much bigger brother to the standard OontZ Angle 3. Now you're not seeing an unboxing video of the speaker because it's just plain packaging like always, and I was on a trip as well and I just wanted to get a quick hands-on with it so I could get my review going a little bit more. So basically you're just going to be getting my full review here, but I'll give you a slight tour of what was included in the box. So you don't only get the speaker, you also get an aux cord. This is a 3.5mm aux cord. This looks to be about 4 feet long, maybe 5 feet, give or take a couple inches. But this is a very long cord, and it should work for practically any situation. They're nice and small on the end, so they should fit into any case as well, and I don't think you'll have any problems there. Also included in the box, which I actually haven't used yet because the speaker came with a lot of battery, was the power brick. Now this is not a standard charger, meaning it's not micro USB or anything easy to find. What you're dealing with here is a DC charger, so it's going to be a little bit harder to charge up this speaker if you don't have this with you, because these are not the most common sight nowadays. What this charger is rated at is a 15 volt 1.5 amp output, and that's to push a lot more juice into the much bigger battery found in the speaker. Otherwise you'd be looking at very long charge times. Obviously it's still going to take a pretty long time to charge, but nowhere near as long as it would have taken without this higher voltage charger. So a quick tour around the speaker itself. At the top you have some OontZ branding, followed by a whole row of buttons. On either side of the speaker you have your two little bass radiators. These are covered in what looks like aluminum, but I'm pretty sure it's plastic, and obviously these things will start to vibrate and go wild whenever you have music playing at a higher volume. On either side of the speaker, on the front and back, you have two grills. This is where your sound is going to come out of. If you look in there, it's a little bit hard to see, but you have what looks like two tweeters and two mids on each side of the speaker. So you'll get a nice balanced sound stage, but you'll still have that bass due to the sides. And then on the bottom you have some really nicely included rubber feet. These feet actually like spring up and down. That's a very, very welcome inclusion. This will help to kind of absorb some of the vibration so it's not shaking around on your table like the OontZ Angle 3 was. So you can get this thing up to a very high volume and it's going to be rock solid on that table, still producing the sound it was meant to produce. Also along the bottom you have a couple of specs and barcodes down here with what looks like a serial number, some FCC information, the OontZ Angle 3 branding, designed in the USA. And then we have some steps to pair and connect your Bluetooth device. This stuff is fairly obvious, so I'm not going to go over that. And then you have something here which I'm really curious about what it is. It looks like a screw and some sort of an opening. If that's not covered in the manual, I'm not going to do anything with it. Now what this actually is here is a user replaceable battery. I'm not entirely sure where you can pick up a replacement, but OontZ's website does list this as a user replaceable battery. So you just unscrew this plastic screw here, unplug the old one, and pop in your new one. You're good to go. That way, if your battery reaches its maximum number of recharge cycles in its lifetime, you will not be without a speaker. And then you also have a special LED here. This is the OontZ Wireless Dual Pairing Light. This is a white light which will flash when you're pairing to a second one of these speakers, and when you are paired, it will turn a solid white. So what this will allow you to do is to put these in stereo mode. So maybe if you're outside and you want to have a little bit louder sound, you're just going to hook two of these up to each other, and what these are going to do is give you more of a surround sound. One will function as the left, and one will function as the right channel audio. You look on the back of the speaker, you are greeted with the connector flap. This is where all of your inputs are at. So if you open it up, on the left-hand side, you're going to be greeted with your indoor-outdoor switch. This will let you switch between your left and right stereo modes, which is indoor, or your outdoor mode, which is tandem, where you're working with another one of these speakers, and that's basically just to toggle between those two modes. Then you have the female full-size USB port. This is used to charge your phone at 5 volts 1 amp, so it's going to be quite a slow charge, but honestly that's not going to be a big deal. I would assume this is going to charge about as much battery as it's draining if you're over Bluetooth or even just playing music over your auxiliary cord, so this should function just fine for things like that. Speaking of the auxiliary jack, we do have that 3.5mm port right there, and then we have the dual voltage power adapter charging jack, which is where your DC power will go. This speaker is also very nice as it has voice prompts. For example, when you connect to a device, disconnect, plug it in aux jack, or even just turn it on, it'll give you alerts of what's happening. It'll inform you of things such as connection status, and battery life. I should note that unlike a lot of other OontZ products, this speaker is not water resistant, so you don't want to use it near water. Try to keep it out of moisture as well, like maybe your bathroom. You wouldn't want to take it in there while you're taking a shower, as the steam could get to it. Obviously, you might be lucky, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's just best not to try. But this speaker is incredibly loud. Very, very loud. I've seen this thing rated at 100 decibels before, and honestly that's enough to blow out your ears if you get too close. So don't crank up the volume on here, and if you do, make sure you're some safe distance away. But overall, the sound on here is stunning. Highs are very sharp. Highs, when they come in, basically you know they're there. They're not kidding around with you. The mid-tones in the speaker are also very nice, as you do have these mid-drivers in here. So you're going to get a nice balanced sound, and then again, the bass on the sides of the speaker, those will be vibrating all over the place, and really they don't give you a rumbling bass like the OontZ Angle 3 would. What these give you is just a nice present bass. You can feel the punch in the room. It's not insane or anything, but it's just basically a very well-rounded sound, very loud, and I can't say enough about how I feel about that. It's just stunning. Call quality is also very clear. The microphone on here works well if you're within a decent range of it, but really, why would you be yelling at the speaker across the room on a phone call anyway? You'd be able to hear the other person if you had your volume high enough. You can trust me on that, but I don't think the microphone would work that far away. If you're using an aux cord, you are not able to use the speakerphone mode, but that's really quite alright. I have tried out every single feature the speaker has to offer, from charging your phone to using an auxiliary device, and I can say they all work perfectly fine. No problems whatsoever with that. As you can see right here, the Angle 3 XL outperforms the OontZ Angle 3 in terms of staying steady on the table during very loud and bass-intensive songs. I'm running the DJ Iceman bass test right here, obviously muted for copyright reasons, but you can see how those softer, more springy feet on the XL outperform the Angle 3 in terms of just not rocking around and shaking things off the table. It's actually a very, very welcome addition to the speaker. So in summary, would I recommend you pick up the OontZ Angle 3 XL? Most definitely. If you're in the market for a big room-filling speaker that puts out a ton of volume and doesn't sound distorted or anything at all, the Angle 3 is your man. But if you're in the market for something to take around and get it a little bit beat up, the Angle 3 offers its IPX7 certification, I believe it was, and this will give you a little bit more durability, albeit with a lower price tag and a little bit worse sound. In my opinion, the OontZ Angle 3 outperforms every other Bluetooth speaker on the market, so I would have to give this one my recommendation. A straight up 10 out of 10 from me. Of course, you can find links in the description, like always, where you can pick up the speaker. Maybe give one to a friend if you're feeling really generous. They would definitely love you forever if you did that. But until next time, this is Nathaniel Bungie from TechSession, again with the OontZ Angle 3 XL Bluetooth speaker review. See you later.